Hello and welcome back to the Crew Motorfest. Now, it's definitely been a while since I've been in this game, but the new car that recently got added, which is the Ferrari F8, definitely was enough to bring me back in, at least for a little while. And in this video, I'm going to take y'all through not only the initial purchase where we choose the color and we go through all of the factory options, but I'm also going to take y'all through the entire customization process. And then we're going to take this thing out into the world and see what it's like to drive. But before we go any further, let me know in the comments down below if y'all have still been playing the Crew Motorfest. Let me know if you're still invested in it, and let me know if it's a game that you would like to see more of here on the channel. It's definitely an interesting one for me personally because it's a game that I jump into and I'll spend a little bit of time in it and then I'll jump kind of out of it and I won't touch it for like 2-3 weeks, and then I'll come back to it again and I'll be like, oh, it's actually a pretty fun game. And then I'll put it back down and I won't touch it again for like a month. I don't know why I do this, but either way, I feel like I'm not the only one that does that with this game. But regardless, let's go ahead and get right into the customization. So now that we've had the chance to go ahead and pick this thing up, I decided to get it in sort of this ice blue. I really like the icy blue color on this car. I think a lot of people ended up getting this car in either red or yellow, which are both really common Ferrari colors. And if you're going to buy something like a Ferrari F8, at least be a little different than, I don't know, it's not like you see them commonly on the road, but of the ones that you're going to see, a lot of them are going to be yellow or black or red. And I'm like, if I was ever going to remotely spend that much money on a car, especially if I was buying it new, I would get some super outlandish, wild, low volume color that like nobody gets. And I'm sure that some people would say, well, no, you've got to get one of the standard colors because if you get some wacky off the wall color that not everybody likes, then you're going to destroy the car's resale value and it's not going to be a good investment and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. But I kind of just go back to the standpoint of like, if I'm buying something remotely close to this level, honey, I'm not going to be concerned about the resale value. I also almost kept the factory wheels because I didn't really like any of the aftermarket options. That is one of the areas where I think the Crew games have always been a little bit lacking in the customization area, is the aftermarket wheels really haven't evolved all that much. And a lot of the cars that I build in, well, actually a lot of the cars that I built back in the Crew 2 and a lot of the cars that I've continued to build here in the Crew Motorfest, I've left the factory wheels on a lot of them because a lot of the fantasy wheels just don't look all that great. And they also look a little dated, in my opinion. They don't necessarily all look dated, but a lot of them do. And while I definitely think there are things to like about both the Crew games and the Forza Horizon games, I think wheel selection, the Horizon games definitely have they don't definitely have an edge. They have a massive edge when it just comes to pure choice in terms of the aftermarket wheels you actually do want to run on your car. And I think for a lot of people, that's a really important aspect of customization because wheels can do so much for the character of a car's appearance that if you kind of, I don't know, I feel like if the Crew would just spice up their wheel selection just a little bit, I feel like they would have so many more people actually using the customization system than they do now. Because still, if you look at a game like Horizon 5 or even a game like Need for Speed Heat or Need for Speed Unbound, those games have better aftermarket wheel selections than the Crew Motorfest does. Now, obviously, the Crew Motorfest has more options in terms of factory customization, like if you were to option out an interior or if you were to option out carbon packages and this, that, and the other. But I don't know how many people want to do that as opposed to just being able to run their favorite aftermarket wheels. But that's also something that y'all can chime in on in the comments down below, because I would love to know what y'all think in regards to what would you like to see in the Crew moving forward. Would you like to see, in terms of customization anyway, more options for wheels, or keep the existing wheel related options and continue to flesh out the things like the interior packages, the carbon packages, the little details, this, that, and the other when it comes to customizing your cars? But before we go much further, let me go ahead and stop talking for a bit so y'all can hear what this thing actually sounds like. Now, of course, it may not be everyone's cup of tea, but for those of you that are into cars like this, I think you're going to really like the way this car both sounds and drives, because it's really predictable. It's really easy to slide it around, but it's also just a really easy car to like cruise around the map in, or use to maybe hang out with friends and just kind of like chill and be relaxed. And I can already hear someone that's about to say, well, I don't get these cars to drive relaxed. I get these cars to race them, and I only race them with the objective of winning. So, and I'm like, I mean, if you want to race in this game, sure, that's fine. But if you want to be that competitive, I would honestly recommend finding a different game, because being that competitive in this game is honestly probably just going to make you upset. And I mean, if you want to be upset and frustrated at the game, sure, I mean, be my guest. But I don't know, it doesn't sound like a fun time to me. It really doesn't. And I also don't necessarily understand how you can approach competition with such a serious tone in a game where you can just kind of jump from rooftop to rooftop. But then again, as I say that, I also realize that GTA racing exists and people take that very seriously. Honestly, there are some people that take GTA racing so seriously that I have seen people take GTA races more seriously than some sim racers I know. But again, I'm not here to tell anyone how to play a game, and if you want to be that serious, I mean, be my guest. But I don't know, it just doesn't sound like a good time. So, enough about that. Let's go back to talking about the car. Also, I do want to apologize right here for any of the odd or awkward mic issues that I've had. They've been very in and out. I haven't had these issues with this microphone in a while, and it's doing these very odd things where you would not probably believe what I'm about to tell you, but the volume on the microphone, the recording volume on this microphone right now is actually quite low. So I don't know where we're getting these awkward peaks from, but I am determined to figure it out. Because honestly, if I don't figure it out, it's going to drive me up the absolute wall. And I'm honestly just going to lose it trying to figure this out, because I just don't know. I don't know. And I'm honestly kind of tired of trying to figure it out, because I've been trying to figure out this microphone for so long. And all it does is it keeps having issues. And then it's like I try to figure it out and then it makes fun of me for it. Because I kid you not, I will literally spend a bunch of time making sure my settings are good, they're all dialed in, they're tested, they're this, that, and the other, and then I'll hit the record button, and the microphone will just be like, oh, you thought it was gonna work? Are you stupid? So that's a little bit of a inside look into some of the stuff I've been dealing with lately in regards to some of my gear, which I'm so glad, y'all, that I bought this secondary computer this past August, because I'm not gonna lie, it has helped me out of multiple jams, because the motherboard in my main PC completely just pooed itself. It absolutely just pretty much decided one day that it just had no interest in doing the job of being a motherboard anymore, and decided it was going to leave the chat. So that's been a fun one, because that's like the main computer that I use to run a lot of different things like live streams and this, that, and the other, which if you're wondering why there haven't been any live streams lately, it's because the main sort of mainframe PC kind of just... And after that happened, it's been kind of tricky to keep up with a lot of different things, because that PC sort of had all of my main stuff on it and controlled all of my main content delivery systems. So fortunately, the other computer tower that I bought in August, or this past August, is running a lot of my games, and then a lot of those are then getting run through my laptop, which has sort of been the in-between as far as handling content logistics, as far as like, you know, uploading and stuff like that goes. But I don't know if I want to stress my laptop with the overall load of having to run the streams, because the streams are a lot more intensive than the videos are, and it's a lot on that poor little laptop. It really is. Like, if I was gonna put my laptop through that, I would almost just feel bad, like genuinely. But now that I've caught y'all up on some of the things that have been going on the back end, we do have some plans in place to sort some of that stuff out, of course. But if y'all enjoyed this video and this look at this car, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new and want to see me hit more traffic cars, and I will see y'all next time.